everybody help me welcome Marlon Hargis of Exile. Say hello.
Hey, Donna, how are you doing? Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. The weather is perfect here today, and actually was enjoying doing some stuff around in the yard, just kind of cleaning up some stuff after all the rains and snow and ice we had. So it's a beautiful day, and I'm just kind of enjoying being at home.
So you stopped raking to come in here and talk to me?
Well, it wasn't a hard decision.
Oh, so you're in Tennessee?
Yeah, I'm in the Nashville area. Actually, three of us live in Nashville and have for years, and a couple of guys still actually live up in Lexington, Kentucky, where we were basically based out of all the way back through the 70s and 80s. And then three of us in the early 90s, we sort of one at a time moved down here. And then, so I mean, I've lived here almost 30 some years. So I really sort of consider Nashville home at this point.
Are you on a farm?
No, I live in an area called Hermitage, which is, yeah, and I do have a fairly large lot and a lot of big trees, and it's fairly private, so I enjoy just kind of sitting on the back deck and watching the squirrels in the trees. So
I'm chuckling because you probably really were raking.
I really was. It wasn't any big deal, but it's just nice to be able to get out and do something outside, you know, because it's been so cold and stuff lately. So just a little bit of a break. So yeah, I was just getting, you know, picking up some leaves and all that sort of stuff. But I'm done for the day, so that's good.
Okay. All right. So I was reading some of the talking points, and I found this interesting. You guys made your opera debut in 2008. What took you so long?
Well, we actually, I won't make this a long story, but we actually were on the Opry back in the 80s. And there was, without going into a lot of detail, we sort of had what they call a train wreck on the Opry.
Oh no!
And it's a very funny story and a long story. I won't go into it, but and I think it's just coincidental, but we always joke that they never ask us back for 30 years. But and you know, really, I think through a lot of the years, you know, particularly in the 80s, and when we were touring so much, it was just hard to take a break and do the Opry. And I think back then it may not have been as important to us, frankly. You know, when you're younger, you may not appreciate it as much. And now we have in the last few years, because we've been on there, I think, well over 100 times in the last 12 or 15 years, and it's actually become very important to us now that we get a little bit older, and you know, appreciate the older Opry members who's still around, and it's actually been a treat to get to know some of the members who have since passed on. You know, people like little Jimmy Dickens and people like that. Those people were always so nice and so pleasant, and it to me, I always thought it's a great lesson to younger artists is you know, always be nice and appreciate your fans and your co-workers, because everyone at the Opry is like that. They're just nice people, and it is kind of a family in a way.
Right. You say little Jimmy, and I'm thinking Porter too. Porter.
Oh yeah. Now we didn't know. Porter was already gone when we started back. However, we knew him a little bit through the years, and from doing Hee Haw and stuff like that. And Porter and all those people, Grandpa Jones, even going back that far.
Yeah.
And they, you know, when we did Hee Haw a few times back in the day, it was just so much fun hanging out with them, because they were just genuinely nice people, and it was great to hear their stories, and it's just great to hang out with. I mean, they're just, you know, like us, just average people, you know. It's just, we just happen to be doing something on stage for a living. That's the only difference.
Well, we're all just people, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. We're all just people. And I have a Kentucky connection. When I was 4 years old, my dad worked for American Airlines. And when I was 4, he took a promotion that brought us to Kentucky. And I lived there. We lived there as a family for 2 years. And then he got another promotion that moved us back to New York, and That's when they bought their 5-bedroom house on Long Island.
Wow. Now, what years were you in Kentucky? Where did you live in Kentucky? In Lexington?
No, I remember
Louisville?
I remember a place called Covington.
Yeah, that's where actually the Cincinnati airport is in Kentucky.
Right.
And in Covington. That's probably where he was based, was in the greater Cincinnati airport, which, as I say, is actually in northern Kentucky. So
right. And I do remember a Christmas and all the Christmas lights in Cincinnati. I remember him bringing us to Cincinnati for Christmas one year, and I thought it was beautiful. Might be where I'm also a country songwriter, so it might be where I get my love of country music and also living in the country. You know, when you tell people you're from New York, they imagine that that you grew up on cement sidewalks.
Right.
No, I grew up on Long Island. We had a lot of sand, a lot of beaches, and gravel roads.
Yeah. Well, I have some friends that live in upstate New York, and they literally live out in the country. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. So again, it's just like you can't generalize about Kentucky or Tennessee. You can't really generalize about New York either. It's a very varied state.
I lived on a dead end street, and at the dead end was the Brentwood Country Club.
Really?
So I spent summers hunting for golf balls. We would find the golf balls, we'd clean them up, and we'd sell them back to the golfers.
Yeah, that's a great way for kids to make money. Absolutely.
It was very profitable.
Yeah, great.
And it was like going on a perpetual Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, except just don't try to eat the golf balls.
You couldn't eat them. Yeah, and bring them home, clean them, and then sell them. But it was almost that kind of feel. It was always like you're always looking for a treasure. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to grow up. I have very fond memories of those summers.
Yeah, well, I grew up literally on a farm, so in the country. And as a matter of fact, most of the guys in the band, with a couple of exceptions, grew up in the country. So, we sort of have that country upbringing. Which it's kind of hard to explain, but there is a certain attitude you have when you've grown up in the country. I think you kind of appreciate nature a little more and kind of learn how to be self-sufficient. So
live off the land.
Yeah, and because frankly, if we were to lose power or something happened, where I know how to build a fire and, and this and that and survive and do this. So, it does make a difference in the way you live, I think.
Well, yeah, you could survive off the grid. You don't really want to, but you could.
Yeah, I don't want to. And frankly, having grown up on the farm, a lot of people say they'd like to go back and retire on a farm. I don't really want to, because farming actually it's not easy work. If you have a working farm, it's hard work. And I did a lot of hard work growing up. So at this point, I think maybe someplace where there's a couple of acres is fine. I really don't want to do any farming anymore.
Yeah.